Good afternoon, everyone. Today I want to take you through some incidents straight out of my personal diary that were crucial turning points in my life. So during my early childhood days, I was not aware that my father, being a filmmaker, is a recognized personality and is someone who's constantly under the public eye. I thought everyone's father gets photographed in public. Everyone's father features on television and on magazine interviews. My father would wave goodbye every morning and go to the office. And I thought having a dinosaur crash a wedding scene or blowing up a building on the count of 3 was just a normal day at work. That's what fathers do. It was much later when I started getting familiar with his celebrity status because everyone would come up to me and ask me about my surname. I even remember lying about it to avoid all this attention. But I remember back in those days, I was being unapologetically myself. Let me paint you a picture. So I had frizzy curly hair, I was of a duller skin tone, and I even had braces on and red spectacles. While my schoolmates were coming to school in luxurious cars, my siblings and I went to a garage. We picked out this red auto rickshaw with pink interiors, crisscross grillings on the side, and multiple colored LED lights to go to school every day. It even had a cool jingle every time you hit the reverse gear. It went something like this. But if I went back in time and saw myself in front of the mirror, the girl on the other side was someone who was such a happy child, thriving in school, so excited to learn something new every day, was so happy to go to her singing classes, dancing her heart out in ballet classes, and even playing the piano and learning to swim. Now, of course, the inevitable happened, change. During my early adolescent phase, some new rules came to play. You have responsibilities to bear with the surname you carry. Being grounded and well-disciplined is of utmost importance. You have to take your academics seriously and start planning your career goals. And there's no escaping from getting a professional degree. And then there were more add-ons from my peers. Straight and silky hair is prettier than curly hair. Abs are more attractive than flaps. Paler skin tone is more desirable than wheatish. Now I understand that getting your career set right is important and you have to sweat it out to get there. And I was ready to. But somewhere I let this peer pressure get to me. To me, the girls and boys in my class looked like the cast of a Disney high school musical. And my parents' colleagues' children looked like walking dolls to me. Even during my annual school plays, I was given parts which were more character-oriented, while I was keen on playing roles like Selena the Sensual, which were perfect to exhibit my singing and dancing skills with the acting. In spite of being well equipped to carry that role, I was told to train another girl to make her fit the part. In spite of being well equipped and being very passionate and having the skill set, I was subject to this reality that essentials are not essential enough and that physical appearances and other traits carried more importance than what was actually necessary. Then on, I stopped liking my leotards for ballet class. I stopped liking to go sing on stage with my untamable hair. I didn't want to go and play any sport, fearing I might tan further. And I definitely didn't want to go dance on stage with all this chubbiness that surrounded me. After one point, I started feeling like these trends were not only shoved down my throat, but they were deeply embedded in my conscience. I started to do everything I can to achieve these parameters. I started painting my face with foundation to go to school. I wore blue eyeliner with shocking pink lipsticks, you name it. I tried to straighten my hair and burnt it instead. I applied some harsh bleaching creams and ended up getting a skin allergic reaction. I've been on crazy diets and ended up unconscious on my bathroom floor with chipped teeth. After giving up, I looked at myself in the mirror. The girl on the other side of the mirror had so much she wanted to express, so much she wanted to venture out into, and with so many dreams, just beating herself up to match up to parameters set by someone else. I first wanted her to respect her body and health. I wanted her to derive confidence from her abilities and her academic capabilities. I wanted her to refine her innate talent and excel in her academic interests. I wanted her to put herself out there and seize every opportunity. And I wanted her to define her own aesthetic standards and not let some 32-22-32 ratio from bogging her down. Now I remember my undergraduation period being the most memorable phase of my life because its timing lined perfectly with this new self-discovery journey I was embarking upon. From being in such a conditioned environment like school and going to a medical college felt like such an upgrade. I got my first cell phone. I got to meet so many students, faculty members and patients from different walks of life, sharing all these different stories they had to tell. I felt like it broadened my horizons. I made great friends I treasure till date who've accepted this unfiltered version of me. I remember we used to squeeze into one tiny car and make uncountable trips to the movies, beach, and even some apparently haunted localities. All these experiences I was gathering and these friendships I was making somewhere flipped a switch in me and opened me up. After all those years, I felt like the reasons I was giving myself for not putting myself out there, it all stopped making sense to me anymore. So finally, I signed up for a dance competition, and in front of thousands of students and faculty members, I danced center stage with my friends right beside me. It was the most liberating experience I've had. I even regretted as to why I didn't do this before. Now coming to a more professional standpoint, I've always wanted to become a doctor since I can remember. I used to tell everyone I'll become an ophthalmologist and help the blind gain vision. But on exploring the subject of dermatology, I learned that the skin had more than the eye could see. And I couldn't deny my undying passion for skincare trends and aesthetic trends. So I went on to pursue my post-graduation in dermatology. My friends even now tell me that I was the only one back in school who followed an AM and PM skincare routine and how I would go on and on about sunscreens and how important they are. I'd say that's something that never stopped though. So during my post-graduation, I was trained to treat everything about skin, the largest visible organ of our body. We were dealing with systemic psoriasis, autoimmune disorders, carcinomas, debilitating conditions like leprosy and even STDs. But on a more regular basis, we were seeing so many worried young men having receding hairline, and we tried to help them with the scalp health. So many women trying to cope with post-pregnancy hair fall and stretch marks, and a lot of young girls who were suffering with acne. And once we treated them, when all these blemishes disappeared, they would beam with confidence. Somewhere I started to feel like that girl on the other side of the mirror had found her purpose. Now, for me, the magic of fairy tale happy endings and movies didn't end with the television screen. I was a very, very sensitive child, but blessed with loving parents and caring siblings who literally coddled me and protected me from every single difficulty. I started seeking so much comfort in that safe zone and that protected space that I didn't want to tread further. Now this girl on the other side of the mirror, one fine morning, walked down the aisle wearing her dream Manish Malhotra outfit. There was a groom waiting for her with teary eyes, and they were to begin this happily ever after journey henceforth in this too good to be true bubble. Now this girl had settled for the label of a delicate darling. Delicate darling casted herself in an iron mold to fit his family's liking. Delicate darling stretched herself to make ends meet. She shrunk herself to fit his wallet. She detached herself to gain his attachment. She broke herself to fix him. But that didn't suffice. She was taken down a peg that she ultimately meant nothing more than her maiden name. That bubble had finally popped, and I shattered. I realized that I was making the same mistake all over again. I was letting another external factor validate my worth. Now I had an ongoing career crisis. I didn't have a stable job. I didn't have my own income. And I had the responsibility to complete my post-graduation. But with the shred of self-respect that remained, I picked up all of my broken pieces and left. After bawling my eyes out, questioning all of my life choices, and massive stress eating that followed, with swollen eyes and a runny nose and undying emotional support from my family, I got up and lived every one of those hard days. So don't be scared to be unique or do something different. Because I've made a couple of bad choices in the past and some poor decisions, but I got one thing right, my passion. I set a goal that I want to pursue my dream of becoming a doctor. I set that goal quite early on for myself, and through this bumpy self-discovery journey of mine, I worked and studied for 10 hard years to get there. I played by my rules, and I'm glad I did. Because when life hit me, it hit me hard. And what did I have to grab onto? Not my bubble, not my peers, and not any social validations. All I had to grab onto was what I made out of myself. The confidence I had in my professional backing, undying emotional support from my family, and the willpower to move ahead got me going. If I were to tell you one rule that I follow today, that would be self-determined quality. As Aishwarya, I always nurture my relationships by spending quality time with my people. And as a doctor, whenever I sign any case report, prescription, or any piece of work with my name, I ensure it meets the quality standards I have set for myself. I work to upkeep the value of my label. So I would like to end today by redefining myself. I am Dr. Aishwarya Shankar. Doctor, to become which I have given my time, sweat and tears. Aishwarya is someone I rebuilt from scratch and is still work in progress. And Shankar is my family and ultimate support system. Thank you.